Hello, welcome in. I heard we're supposed to ask questions to someone, Cubby, but I don't see anyone around. Do you?
Well, it is like a quarter time show.
Uh huh.
Sometimes we get the privilege of speaking with coaching staffs beforehand.
True.
Usually it's head coaches. Unfortunately, we are stuck with the assistant and positional coaches this time around, but
Ooh.
we'll see if we can make the best of this situation. Even talking to some of the lesser staff, especially given the attitude that some of them have
Hey,
towards us.
hey,
But anyway,
hey, lesser staff. Wait a minute. What is this? What is this flame that I'm receiving right now? Okay. Okay. You know what? I remember you. You're the one with that $5 haircut. I don't want any of that attitude right now. We're behind in a series right now. Okay. It's serious
$5
times.
haircut.
And I know that I'm not going to be, qualified to answer all the questions. I've gotten some complaints in the past, some questions on my abilities, which I take personally. So we actually have our positional coach, XU, here to chat about what happened in that last series from our perspective here at Cloud9. So I'll answer any questions I can, but I'll be deferring to XU for some of these. So who's
Okay.
up first? You
Okay.
you on the left there.
All right. So I think this is the first time we've seen C9 drop to a scaling composition in all of Academy and PG. Uh, how do you recover from this? Is this going to change up the game plan you have going into the next game drastically? What were some of the things that really gave you a hard time against 100 Thieves in the last one?
Well, I think one of the big things about matching scaling is that you want to make sure your early game goes well. And so, particularly for Malice, I think a big one would be to make sure that before 4 minutes, we try not to die this game. Because game one, it happened, game three, it happened, and they lost. So, I really think it's big that we try to
Wise words.
stay safe on the first clear.
Wise
Yeah.
words. I like this guy.
I've actually implemented a new coaching technique where underneath Malice's chair we have an electrical shocker that buzzes him anytime he dies before 4 minutes.
That
So
sounds
hopefully
terrible.
we can condition it out of him.
That doesn't sound like it's going to be conducive to a good environment at all. Like,
Well, sometimes you got to go for extreme measures as a coach. You wouldn't know, would you? Next question, please.
well, speaking of extreme measures, could we possibly see something out of Malice besides one of the five that he's played? Maybe.
I think that's pretty unlikely given his history, but maybe there's something crazy in the back pocket. Who knows?
I can tell you, Malice and I have been working on a lot of things. I know the positional coach would usually be the one to do that, but I actually sent Malice a pretty long document of all my favorite solo queue junglers. So I'm hoping that he pulls out some things. The
Solo
Pantheon's
queue
one that I've been finding
junglers.
success with, as well as of course the Singe. So I
This
think
isn't
that.
solo queue.
You do realize this is League of Legends and not Wild Rift, correct?
Oh, that we're playing League of. I've. You know what? I should
Alright,
probably edit the doc.
moving on.
All right, next question.
Your bot lane, tough time this last game against Wixie Busio. They really stepped up. I know the Zaya deny, it's been good. It worked in game 2. Any thoughts on that moving into game 4? Any spilling of strategery going on?
I think there's been a little bit of shock from Winsome finding out he's playing in Academy today, as they announced on Twitter. So I think he's still getting used to it, and I think if he doesn't pick up his performances soon, he might be dropping to the amateur team next.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, we're not supposed to reveal that information, positional coach XU,
Oh,
okay?
oh,
And
sorry,
I
sorry.
will say, we had rigorous training for Winsome coming in, subbing in for us here in Academy. We're wishing Isles luck as well at the LCS stage. Of course, we're all rooting for Isles moving up there. But for Winsome, we got our classic trust fall exercises. We've been doing that, but we actually we did something a little more extreme this time. Overnight, we locked King and Winsome in a room together and cranked that sucker up to 100 degrees. But then, of course, during the day, we didn't have to do that because it's like 100 degrees in LA anyway. So we just put them outside. When you put them in a heated environment, it really accelerates that synergy building between the two of them. So again, extreme coaching techniques. We're
That's
trying
great.
out anything. We're trying out everything right
That's
now.
not great.
Wait, they were hydrated.
Show
We
me
gave them
the
water. Okay, let's chillax.
the
Take a chill
scientific
pill.
research and stats that prove that actually works. And then
Your
I'll
chill's
believe
up
you.
here.
Hey, you know what?
I need it down here.
It's
Next
a
question.
high pressure environment, high heat environment, or torture,
Exactly.
There's some
Exactly.
questionable things going on with assistant coach gets over here.
Well, let's just say I've struggled to keep a job on a team.
No wonder.
Next question. Last question, actually. Let's wrap it up here. Last question.
Yeah, I'll ask it. XU, when are you gonna fire that other guy?
Uh,
What?
I don't think I have that power, but I'll definitely let
I
Jack
believe in
know
you.
about his disappointing performances in press
Actually,
conferences.
he was a C9 member.
Yeah, this is true.
What I again, every time I come on here and I'm attacked on a personal level,
I wonder
and
why.
I don't appreciate it.
I wonder why.
I wonder why, truly. Well, that's going to be it. No more questions. Okay, we got to get back and prep for this next game. So I'm going to pass it over to just the casters to get us underway for game number 4.
Ooh. Well, that's always an experience, isn't it, Cubby?
You know, I did miss an opportunity to ask about the CS differential at 10, but you know,
It's 14.
we're
It's
gonna
14.
Oh, 14. Well,
Yeah,
we're
there you
gonna let that meme die out, hopefully.
Yes, please.
But, you know,
Please. Anyways, why don't we talk about what's
Gotta
at
bring it up.
hand? What's at foot here? Because this is game 4. 100 Thieves are up. They win this game. They book their tickets to the top 4. They get to play live in studio. Well, Cloud9, there is a lot riding on them for this one. Having not the most stellar performance last summer, but make it to the finals in spring. Here, falling just short of playing live, especially with most of the members being the same, 3 out of the 5, since now Winsome stepping in, would definitely be I'm trying to think of a good word that doesn't flame too much.
I think it would be
What would be a good word?
I think it'd be a heck of an accomplishment for like this roster. I mean, I think we've seen throughout the academy split and PG. I mean, you know, different teams have different like theories about what their academy team means to them, but this
Right.
is definitely one for C9 where, you know, part of the result that we're going to have today is a consequence of them trying to make LCS changes. I know it's something that Copy was pretty honest about, you know, like, hey, Winsome's great. We love having him on the team, the org. We have experience with him in the in-houses, but it's really tough to replicate the synergy that King Isles have built up throughout the season, built up throughout their play historically in the past, and bring that to the Rift under a week's notice. So I know it's a tough situation for C9, but it would really speak to them if they were able to overcome that and overcome a 1-2 deficit.
I want to bring us back to that point as now me and Exio are joining in. First of all, Exio, I didn't know you were a positional coach for Cloud9, picking up on the side here.
Yeah.
After your Proving Grounds run.
Might have to change the merch.
Yeah, thank you.
You might even get a Cloud9 shirt instead.
I think,
for
I'm pretty
next
sure he
time.
already has one.
But I want to start with that. True, yeah, you did play for Cloud9 Amateur. I want to start with that point that you were just talking about, Cubby. And I bring this to Exu and get your opinion on this as a player. How much do you think Cloud9's struggle in that last game in particular comes down to the fact that there is this last-minute sub, and when that happens for these team environments, that can cause a lot of confusion with, okay, who's communicating? Who's the primary shot caller? How do we function now from a communication standpoint?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with having a sub is like if everything's going okay, then it's not a big deal. But once something,
Actually, I believe that you might still be muted. I think stream can hear you, but I don't think that we can pick up what you're saying right now.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
I'm sure it sounds amazing. I'm sure it sounds
Well,
amazing, but I would love to hear as well.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Alright,
yes, we
I was
can.
saying that like I think with a sub, everything's okay if the game is like going okay. But with the last few games where something happens really early on, it's a little more chaotic. Like those situations are a lot harder with subs since you're not used to the same dynamic. And
Yeah.
there's like honestly, I'm sure there's a lot of leadership qualities with Isles, so I think like it's pretty different for them having Winsome instead.
Winsome is a big shakeup for Cloud9 Academy. Let's see if they can bring it back with this substitute player coming in from the LCS stage as we are getting ready now for pick and ban for game number 4. So Magical Cubby, take it away.
Thank you guys both. We'll see you after our 4th game of the day, getting ready for Champion Select. And for Cloud9, they're remaining on the blue side. Just a little bit of a forewarning for everyone. So I doubt we'll see too much of a shakeup, but honestly, I think Cloud9 need to shake things up going into this draft. And
They are.
in fact, they are with the Diaban.
Okay. I mean, I think this is really tough for C9 because not only are you down 2-1, but you've also lost in 2 really different ways. Like getting outscaled in one, and then the other one, you know, can be Kindred getting really involved early and throwing a lot of wrenches in the game plan of C9. So I think a big shakeup's needed for the side of 100 Thieves. I'm expecting to see the Karthus ban and letting the Udyr through, but hey, who knows? Maybe if they let that Viego, that Graves through, maybe that's a matchup that can be won. Into the Karthus. Who knows?
I'm looking at this right now. I'm actually wondering if it's going to be the Graves. No, it's Strundle. So both Graves, Kindred, well, both.
Graves,
all 3.
Viego, the other 2.
Graves, Viego, but also Kindred. Letting them through right now for Kenby to possibly play. And he's got some options what he wants to take away. I'm betting it's going to be that Udyr again.
Yeah.
Karthus was something he did better in again.
I think why you take away the Udyr is that C9 were very much setting up to first pick this Jinx and then go Udyr, Tom Kench for the next 2.
Yes.
I don't think that 100 Thieves wants to deal with that. They would rather deal with the Karthus, Tom Kench. I think that Udyr definitely sets up for that front to back, but we did tease the fact that Graves let through the draft. This is a pick that is actually pretty big for C9 as well. They've been taking Karthus and then Graves in a couple drafts their series against Team Liquid. Copy actually played the Graves 3 times. It's a flex pick for C9 between him and Darshan. It's also a flex for 100 Thieves between Gamsu and Kenvi.
Yes.
So that will be the Insta-Graves lock-in. We'll see if they deny the Tom Kench or if they decide to secure a marksman for themselves, as of course Jinx is showing. Mixie has picked the winner what he wants into that.
We haven't seen too much focus on Zeri throughout this draft. Instead of going for the marksman here like we expected, they've grabbed that late scaling mid laner for Jimmy again in Victor. And this gives a lot of opportunities for Poppy to pick what he wants to into this matchup. I'm expecting that Karthus to be locked in, but I'm wondering if you go for the Tom Kench or if you try to grab something that's going to do decently into Victor.
I'm also thinking of some of the 80s solo lanes you might want to play. Like, Lucian of Victor isn't great. You really can't proactively dash in that lane as Lucian. The one I was thinking about, though, is the Tryndamere. We have seen this. It will force Jimmy into match combative summoner spell. It's been a really big pick for C9 as it is a flex between Copy and Darshan. Both players have excelled on this champion throughout the season. And it's the first time the series are getting their hands on it. I think 100 Thieves have a choice because they could take Gragas here. It would show the Graves flex the jungle, but Gragas has been a huge pick for Gamsu. We are expecting Copy to pilot this one into the Victor, but of course that can be flexed and it is an option. Instead though, of course the marksman ban is something they're going to have to worry about. So it could just be a Zarya lock-in. I would expect a Tom Kench ban, and then we'll see where 100 Thieves goes from there.
What I like for both teams right now is they haven't exactly shown their hand too much. They've kept a lot hidden from one another. Sure, there's certain things that we kind of have an idea for, the scaling on the side of 100 Thieves, but also the scaling on the side of Cloud9, plus a little bit of split push for each team. But that's essentially just them both having a similar composition, isn't it, Cubby?
I think that for C9, I mean, this is a return to the Game 1 identity, right? Like, Tryndamere Karthus is a really lethal combo in the side lane. But I think one of the parts of that game was that C9, they had the Jinx Tom Kench. That is some late game insurance. And C9, this definitely feels like a comp that can scale. Obviously, 100 Thieves, Zeri, Victor, really good, especially as the game goes later. But it is something where C9, they have, I think, better late game options. I think in that last game when they weren't able to get the poke online, and once the Jinx got really far ahead, they really struggled to kind of find a solution to that. So we'll see if maybe committing to the side lane helps C9 a bit. If you want to get back to the draft, we have seen a flurry of support bans thrown out. As Tom Kench, one of the better pairings with Jinx, that's taken away. Nautilus, one of the better picks in Azeri, also taken away. And then we'll see how they end up hitting Busio's pool. Again, 100 Thieves, they are comfortable blinding top and saving counter for Busio. They've done it quite a bit in this tournament. It is still an option. I'm not expecting it, as they are still holding on to that Graves flex, but we will see.
No way it's a Rumble again, right?
No, if you're not showing support, I don't think you take Rumble. I think you got to take something that you can safely blind. Rakan's up. Leona's up. I think those are probably the options.
Yep, there we go. Leona picked for Busio. I was just hoping, I didn't think it had the worst lane phase last time we saw it, but I guess also it's not into the exact same thing as it had been before, the Xayah Rakan. They grabbed this Leona, and as you had mentioned, it really does take away the Rakan pick you could go for. So instead, Alistar is going to be the answer for Winsome into the spot lane. And honestly, I like Alistar. I think he's underplayed.
In my minimal prep for Winsome, this is a pick that Winsome was known for when he was on the up and up overseas, and he's already played it twice in the LCS. I like it in the Leona. And that Orange and I. Okay, so we have the solo magic damage Karthus. Darshan taking that Ornn away from Gamsu on the top side, maybe forcing Gamsu to play a carry into him. We'll see if Gamsu ends up deciding to take that Graves. I'm fully expecting it to go in the hands of Kenvi. We'll see what kind of carries Gamsu wants to play. Base is on the table. He could flip that matchup and play it into Darshan. Poke would be pretty good this game for the side of 100 Thieves.
Definitely would make up for a lot they need, or the gang playing something that he's piloted very well in the past, so grabbing that for extra burst of damage in the late game.
I really like this pick.
Yeah, I really do enjoy seeing what both teams are bringing to the table into this decisive match.
I think that Gangplank makes life really hard for C9, because when you have Jinx, you have Karthus, they have tools to open up space for these two picks, but if you get hit by barrels, or if you're fighting into a GP ult, that's really tough for these immobile, big, damage carries to navigate through. So I think it's a good way for 100 Thieves to control Malice. What I also want to see is how aggressive does Kenvi play this matchup? Because Graves, really powerful early game. You can... 100 Thieves does have some push in their lanes. They could potentially go for a split map scenario. The only reason I'm really kind of bringing this up or forcing it is that it is something that 100 Thieves did on the red side versus Rosethorn and COG and the Volibear, and Kenvi just obliterated that game on the Graves. So again, this is a really comfortable pick for Kenvi, something that he was known for in his time in amateur, has put up huge numbers on in this tournament as well. His Graves has yet to lose in the tournament, so see if C9 can end Kenvi's Graves his first loss and get themselves to a game 5.
Well, it's do or die for them. They definitely need to make sure they are stepping up in this game, getting copy onto that Tryndamere that he had that one impressive play where he dove 3 towers on, Malice onto Karthus once again. Maybe we can have a highlight, a deja vu moment where he gets an Elder Dragon, presses R once, and kills 2 people instantly. But it's also about how they can play around all these other lanes, because for Cloud9, this is do or die time. There's a lot of pressure on the team. And with this mounting pressure, like they faced in spring in the finals against No Org, they fell just short of claiming the title for themselves. They're facing off against the reigning champions now at 100 Thieves Academy.
And I think at this early game, I'm looking to see what Kenvi does, especially given the fact that Kenvi did start out with a control ward. This is something that he did in his last game on the Karthus, or on the Graves. And we'll see if he decides to get frisky with the Karthus, because Kenvi will be able to sidestep that. And we'll see if he maybe drops that control ward, thinking that Malice might have thrown down his trinket.
Got it at the moment. Kind of waiting it out still. Not really going for anything fully. Using the red trinket instead to see if there is a ward placed down. Willing to skittle for 2 along his way. But it looks
Plus
like...
11, baby.
Yeah.
Big time.
And a little bit extra for Malice. There it is.
Malice will start on the top side. Kenvi will as well. Go for the red. And I'm not surprised. I mean, leaving Gamsu to his own device in the top side on this Gangplank. Not surprised in the Ornn matchup. One that we've seen quite a bit in this tournament. And again, both these picks are up in the scale. We'll see how involved these bot laners can get. Keep in mind, Wixie Busio, it wasn't in the lane phase last game, but in the first couple of skirmishes, really got the best of King and Winsome. And I'm really curious to see if they can continue to do so. You see Gamsu heavily trading, utilizing that grasp from the early power you get on the Gangplank.
Darshan, no slouch either. Trying to pop as many of those pots as possible. Doing a good amount of trade back and forth, ebb and flow. Actually, Darshan getting the upper hand at the moment, forcing so many of those corrupt pot stacks to be burned.
I guess curious too, Gamsu, I think with how low each top laner got, Gamsu should be able to still 3-wave crash. I know that's really big for Gangplank, because if you do get a successful 3-wave crash, you can base, get a Cole, and then you can slow push the next few waves out, base and get a Sheen. Those are 2 big spikes, but oh, we gotta pause Kenvi. He's 2 camp to bot.
And what does he like to do when he plays Graves? Play aggressively. But Winsome is a hero at the moment. That was a great punt back to make sure only cleanse is used for this bot lane.
Really well played by Winsome. And showing some of that discipline. Again, Alistar, a champion that Winsome's more comfortable on. Hey, maybe that was the answer for C9. Of course, Winsome stepping into this team a bit later. Getting him something that he's comfortable on. You know that Winsome was picked up by C9 for a reason, right? Very talented individual. Something that C9 wanted to invest in at support. Getting him something comfortable. Maybe that's what C9 are looking for going into this game.
That's why I'm also a big fan of seeing Alistar. I think he's underutilized currently in the meta. You can see the defensive abilities it has, plus also the engage. You have something like Glacial Augment to back up your team, but at the moment, I want to change our focus, Cubby. I want to look towards the junglers and how they're positioned, because right now, Kenvi looks like he can threaten Copy, as Copy's getting a good handle of this mid lane.
Now, Kenvi's just going to hop on his camp, wrap up his clear. I do want to credit Malice, a 313 full clear. Not bad. And I think because Kenvi was spotted bot with 8 CS, he's going to infer that these Kruggos are up. And take those rocks for himself. So, really good start to the game here for Malice.
Getting more and more farm. Try to see if he can continue to outscale that of Kenvi this game on Karthus. The third one of the day for him. This is unusual because I mentioned before that this is a pick that has been permanently banned against Malice all the way back when we think that pop-off performance that he had against 100 Thieves, where he had the one Requiem that essentially just one-shot 2 people on the side of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun to cast, but not a lot of fun if you're on the side of 100 Thieves. But here, they don't worry about it anymore. Like I said, third time, they've let it through. And even if we have Kenvi a bit behind at the moment, he's still going to look for those early plays as expected.
Credit though to Malice because he did spot Kenvi, at least doing the Krugs, and Kenvi is still at level 3. Did just ding 4 off the Raptors. Now will help Jimmy and make sure he gets this wave in. His copy. We'll just be forced to, you know, eat one at his turret. Will be the reset for Kenvi. But overall, I think this is the early game that C9 really hoped and wished for. They avoided the Kenvi cheese, and now just get to, you know, make sure that Jinx is farming. They have even lanes across the board, and C9 definitely drafted a comp that scales very heavily this game. So I think C9 feels really good about where they're at right now.
It's the scale versus scale composition. Second time in a row, but this time a bit more favored towards that of Cloud9, where 100 Thieves, they might have outscaled in that third game over Cloud9. They're, at the moment, kind of falling behind in the early game, and not much has been attempted by Cloud9 outside of good lanes.
He has that cleanse back up.
Flash, though, there it is. And it's Winsome body blocking the best he can. He had to flash. He's igniting. There's Malice on the other side. Zap not connecting. That's going to be the wall of Torment slowing down the members of 100 Thieves. A lot of summoners burned on the side of Cloud9. And honestly, I think it's all well worth it for Cloud9 since they survived.
I really like that, actually, from Kenvi. I mean, just the revisit's good, but also this time around, like the fact he brought that up, Mad Magical, they did get flashes. And that means that things get much easier to punish moving forward if you are 100 Thieves.
And I love that from Malice. He hangs around, gets the remainders of the Krugs in case Kenvi tries to revisit.
He's going to get frisky here. Might stop the base of Busio. Yeah, he's going to step up, but meanwhile, mid,
Kenvi uses the Ghost. He's rooted in place at the moment, but since he had Undying Rage, he'll be fine. Getting that at least blown for Cloud9 does give 100 Thieves a little bit more to play aggressively like this. It's now put Copy in a bad position since he did go for Ghost over TP. Doesn't really want to leave this lane and give more plates and gold over Jimmian.
So he's one plate that's going to fall. On the bright side, though, C9, it was a Busio reset. Malice did spot that, so will enable C9 to step up and take that first dragon in the game. So really good stuff from C9 early. I mean, they've dodged out on the first few plays, 100 Thieves. I think 100 Thieves have found minimal advantage, advantages that are mitigatable as the game goes on. So I think overall C9, they're really happy about where things are at the moment.
And the big thing is they're not controlling Malice. They're not really containing this Karthus, who continues to farm 3 camps over Kenvi. While Kenvi has been able to get a lot of their summoners blown in some of these lanes for Cloud9, hasn't really gotten the gold necessary from kills, assists, regardless, to get that control where he feels confidence facing off against Malice.
If these two face off, though, around the Rift Herald, as that first dragon taken by the side of C9 was really well done by them. And I think Rift Herald is the next point of action that we could see.
Possibly.
Spawning here in 30 seconds. We have resets coming out from the 100 Thieves mid-jungle duo. I think the plan is to set up around this shortly.
It is possible. I still am worried a bit for 100 Thieves. Their whole identity, even if the fact they have scaling is there, their whole identity was to control the side of Cloud9 right out of the gates. Like you talked about, how they had done it against CLG, containing Rosethorn the entire time so he couldn't make these plays. Malice has had essentially a free farming game this time around, getting a lot of pressure, and he continues to get more and more camp advantages over Kenvi.
Oh, this is interesting, as
I almost wonder if
Busio
they're
has
just trying to
flash.
bait it out at the moment. Winsome, a bit aggressive there. First blood's picked up by Kenvi. Busio's taken low. They
Does
got
Kenvi die?
Requiem, and they've got Busio, and not Kenvi. Copy with Undying Rage. Does he turn it around? Yes, he does. Flash for flash. That's going to be the Cloud Roll damage burn.
Wait,
from Copy.
Darshan?
What?
Oh?
What is going
What just
on
happened?
right now? Cubby, what the hell just happened? This game just went topsy-turvy. Malice is still here fighting against these members
Oh
of
no,
100
Wixie.
Thieves. He's not afraid. Wixie, he should be afraid of these skills if he eats any more of them, but he'll get out with the kill for Jimmian.
And just like that, this slow game explodes as I think what happened top Gamsu. So he got hit by the Requiem and what looked to be a Jinx rocket, as I think King somehow found an assist through all that. He went down to Darshan, given the extra help from the other lanes. So I guess Gamsu just kind of caught a couple strays, but meanwhile, Copy was able to trade out on Kenvi. But the real important thing, I really like how Jimmy and stuck around, baited Malice in, and ended up turning that around for 100 Thieves. As
Let's watch.
take a look at top first. So Requiem comes in, and I guess... Oh, he's just stuck. Okay,
Flash.
he burned Splash. He
Oh,
wasn't able to get the
yeah.
turret, though. He doesn't have mana to throw any Qs.
Oh, well done by Darshan.
Really well played by Darshan.
Not much you could say about that. Darshan playing it well, understanding that he had that advantage briefly over Gamsu, so you might as well utilize it. We'll go back to live. Kenvi is looking to get the first neutral of game for 100 Thieves. The Rift Herald for the team. I'm curious to see where they want to plop that. If they want to try to get more control for Jimmy, and he's 2-0 over Copy at the moment. But I don't
Rift's
know.
the big prize, right?
Right.
And I think it's really good that 100 Thieves were able to set that up. Also, Jimmy being 2-0, getting accelerated on a Victor, big deal, because you get earlier evolves, and that really helps you against Tryndamere. You can use that Empower Laser to keep him under the turret, clear out those waves, but also he's going to hit that earlier Empowered Q, which buys you some more move speed to kite out the Tryndamere, exactly what you want to do in this matchup. See Jimmy with a double buff, just peppering Copy under his turret. Might be a big deal as we are a minute away from approaching that Cloud Dragon. And if Cloud Dragon's second Mad Magical, guarantees you they're going to roll a pretty good soul this game.
Exactly, and I'm curious to see if we get something like a Hex Tech Dragon
man.
this time. The zap was a bit off, but honestly, not the worst thing because we go top lane. It's still a setup for the side of Cloud9,
Malice.
spotted
Malice is
out
double.
by Kenvi. Lots of damage onto Gamsu.
He missed it.
Malice
He
is
missed
not
the double Q.
deterred. They've got the knock-up. Even if you got oranges, you ain't okay. But it might be Kenvi who's in fact okay. Fighting back valiantly, getting damage, but the Skittles connected.
no!
The hammer drops onto Kenvi.
And Kenvi had his ult available. I think he was trying to save it, but just wasn't able to calculate it. A huge play for the top side of C9 as they needed that one to go their way. Malice and Darshan, they make it work.
And honestly, what a play for Cloud9. I thought that was going to be Kenvi's highlight reel, continuing to get more clips, but here it's the
Look at
turnaround.
this. Kenvi missed the double Q against the wall. You couldn't really see it in the fog, but that doesn't connect, so they don't blow up Malice. That's why Gamsu ends up falling. And then Kenvi, he has his ultimate up. From what I see on the screen, just wasn't able to figure that one out, but we have to return to live because Busio, he's heading for the hills. Just win some flash.
And looking at that, waiting it out. No, what a fancy foot there from Winsome to make sure Busio's in the grave.
They each tried to guess that too, as Busio, he flashed, but now gotta go mid. Malice, he's gonna die.
Mouse is going to die, getting a little bit of damage onto Jimmy and Kenvi, but I think he was trying his best to eat the wave, so it wasn't another plate taken by Jimmy and Kenvi, but the fact that they have that Rift Herald in the pocket of Kenvi, that's still going to be the turret taken.
That's first brick going over to 100 Thieves. So even despite all the craziness of C9, finding some nice plays on the Rift, it is still 100 Thieves that will be coming out on top. Be taking this one down, because that does fall. 100 Thieves, we'll see what they can do with this lead. I think it's really important that Jimmian is ahead, but man, we have to give props to Darshan. This Ornn blind pick into Gamsu, and the way that C9 has been able to play around it, he has a huge lead in this top side, and no one on the side of 100 Thieves can deal with this Ornn. It's got to be Jimmian getting Leandries, and then maybe they can slowly melt through the Ornn over time, but Darshan is going to be immobile in this top side. I think that's a big difference for C9. Even thinking back to how they won game 2, it was Darshan really having a big game on the Gnar. So the fact that Darshan stepping up again in this game 5, really big for C9.
And it allows C9 to play around another dragon, as you had called out. The Cloud Dragon gifting a great soul potential for the side of Cloud9, and it is an Ocean. You couldn't ask for more if you're a Karthus.
Yeah, I mean, Ocean's pretty cool, right? Just get perma mana.
Right, that's like just skittle,
bad.
skittle, skittle, skittle. Never run out. Get a taste of the rainbow.
Yeah, they could have rolled some better souls, but either way.
The Hex Tech is the only one I really I think would have been the best one.
Yeah, the two worst souls are, the first 2 dragons that we had. So you can fight me on that, but that's.
I'm with
all
you.
good.
No. I think the best one would have been Hex Tech. I actually like the Ocean. It worked really well for Cloud9, but Winsome now.
Hold on, Jinx is approaching. If King's not hugging this bot wall,
Yeah, I
he
think that's
could
what
get
they're
jumped on.
looking for.
I think they
right
are
now,
looking for
too.
King as
Yeah,
well.
he's not hugging the
greedy.
wall. And there's the Zenith
Yeah.
Blade. Smoke screen, cleanse you. Double knocker comes in, but the Ignite is ticking for a kill with collateral
Darshan's
damage.
here.
Darshan was too late. They have a 3v4 fight. They now have to commence with the Solar Flare. Only one knockup. It's Busio. They've got a lot of
Awkward.
damage on the other side. Very awkward for the side of Cloud9. They're gifting more gold over to the mid lane of 100 Thieves.
And I love the punish from 100 Thieves. I was calling it out. If you don't spot the enemy bot lane, good trick you can use the solo queue. Hug the wall. Hug the bottom wall, whether you were walking out a red side or blue side base, because the fact that King wasn't hugging that wall, it opened up the play for 100 Thieves. They take Jinx off the map immediately. And once the Jinx falls, it opens up things for 100 Thieves to take down C9 under the turret. A lot of gold going over to their pockets.
Gifting more gold, Jimmy, as you had talked about before, he is set up to have nearly full evolutions already in this game. He's holy.
Yeah, he's big. That's a lot of gold. You know, we aren't supposed to do live math on air, but that's 3.5K of goldie over the other mid laner. Now on the flip side, Darshan also has a lot of gold.
Yeah,
So,
but I'd rather have the gold on a Victor, Cubby. It's an
true.
Ornn.
I mean, Victor was an arcane. Ornn was not. So easy.
Well, not yet. We don't know. We don't know the future. But jeez, just seeing that kind of lead for Jimmy at the moment, and while Darshan does have a very sizable lead himself, I want to see how Cloud9 can transfer that lead over to King, get more gold into Jinx to set up, or even into Tryndamere. So that way you could set up a 4-1, as you had talked about previously, that was built up by Cloud9 in Game 3.
Now, I will say Jimmy did go for the Ludens, so this is definitely the emphasis on making sure that the squishies get poked out and are at one-shot threat, whereas the Andres, I think it would have been pretty good this game into both Ornn and Alistar. I really like the Andres on Victor because I think ability haste just feels so good in him.
Yeah.
But it will be the Ludens, so more of that upfront damage, more of that move speed. I think either one is all right regardless for Jimmy, but it does kind of switch up your playstyle sometimes on the Victor, like who you attack, who you laser. So big emphasis on getting on that back line. And we'll see if Jimmy and Kenby can sync up and do that, because one thing that Victor and Graves can do, a lot of over-the-top damage. Like, the AoE damage they have, doesn't matter who's in the front line. They are able to get past that. You know, you think about the Storm from the Victor, the ult can be the Qs as well. They don't really care about that front line if you are able to get those skills to connect with the back line. So something I'm going to be looking out for the side of 100 Thieves Academy, given how they built. And the most we got to look out for, Matt Magical, next point of action should be this Ocean Dragon spawning in 90 seconds. 100 Thieves, they've gotten themselves a gold lead in between the last two dragons. And you got to believe they do not want to let C9 get the soul point for free.
But it's only a slight lead. It's not really much to make up for.
That's a close game.
It's a very close game. It's a nice edge at the moment. And once Darshan caps at level 13 and starts giving out these ornaments for the team, that's a big point of power that is now gifted free gold, essentially, to these members of Cloud9 to make these objective takes so much easier, even if they are behind, theoretically, in gold.
Big thing, though, for Jimmy, he actually has a Zanyas for this next fight, which I think is great for this game. I mean, you think of all the things he can go golden to dodge out on, the Requiem, the Horn, and Alistar combo, buy time while Copy is in his ultimate himself. Jimmy's going to be the big piece of 100 Thieves. And I know that Jimmy and a part of the story for 100 Thieves Academy in this tournament, it really has been their solo lanes leveling up compared to the regular season play. A lot of credit goes over to Jimmy, who was playing in the PCS last year, was the runner-up in MVP voting next to Doggo. We cannot put a big enough emphasis on how much excitement was behind this player for the 100 Thieves. And while he didn't have his best regular season, he's really been stepping up big and proving grounds, and has a great chance to have a big impact on this game given the lead he has.
Right there, Solar Flare did not connect on a Malice, so instead it is going to be Cloud9, still safe, perfectly fine. It can be getting a lot of damage, and talk about Jimmy, and he is 3-0. Well, Kenby is 4-2. He's got a good amount of burst damage that he can provide, and like you talked about, having the Graves and Victor, the over-the-top damage, be the ones with the majority of the gold for your team is a perfect position to be in for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Kenby just doing a good job of showing how many more Graves games he has over me, because he's, you know, taking fights that I would never take.
They're looking for Kenby. Exactly, the flash burn and using the ult too. Copy, make sure he slices them down while Malice is in the pit. TP behind. Can they get the fight? Looking to see who they can collapse on with Jimmy and on the wall. He's waiting to see if he can dive on Malice. He smites down. They've got the kill on the cow. They've got the kill on Ornn. The raid's gone. It is Gamsu showing up huge for the team. Copy does not have ult any longer, and he is no more undying. It is 100 Thieves that take the dragon.
And I was just hyping up the one solo laner for 100 Thieves, but it's the other one who comes up huge in that fight, Mad Magical, is Gamsu. The TP in, the way that he played around his barrels, he TP'd it into a 1v3 and somehow walked out with 2 kills.
And God, that was a hell of a play for 100 Thieves. Losing that dragon ability does put them so severely behind.
I mean, it's a great pick from C9. They take down Kenvi, but look at all the damage he gets out in the choke. Talk about the over-the-top damage. They walk through all of it, and then Wixie's just free hitting against the tanks. And it really is 100 Thieves walking in. Again, Gamsu 1v3. Thought he could take out Alistar with that, was not able to, but somehow is able to get out by the time, even gets King to flash forward, which gets him the kill, but then he trades out his life for that. That's what enables 100 Thieves to clean up what at that point was a 4v5 in their hands, but thanks to the upfront damage from Kenvi, thanks to the heroics from Gamsu in that fight, 100 Thieves grab the dragon, they come out on top, and they now have a 3k gold lead in this game.
Denying it the soul point potential and control Cloud9 were vying for as well. You take a look at where the gold is allocated, still so much into Jimian. The safety he has with that Zonias, plus having all the damage that him and Kenvi can provide for the team. These are the carries. Even if you have a Zeri on your team, it is far more built around getting these two set up. And while we watch, they don't really worry about this turret that is possibly going to be taken by Cloud9 because they want their own on the top side.
I mean, I actually like this play for C9. I think a Copy and Darshan syncing up, they are the two strong solo laners. Them just being in the same lane, there's no way that 100 Thieves can deal with this. So I think it has actually a nice read from C9 is they're trading evenly across the map, but they were ahead of the play. So even though it is two turrets going over to 100 Thieves as well, it's an okay situation for them. And Copy?
He's looking for a solo kill. Requiem helps out, get a shutdown for Copy, and guess what he can do? He can continue to stay in the side lane, but the port's coming back in for the side of 100 Thieves. Will call off that forefront fight.
Yeah, he's out, but still, that's what we were looking for, teasing some of the options that C9 has as this game goes later. Copy in the side lane, you have the ultimate, you have the Requiem in your back pocket from your teammate. It is an opportunity for C9 to get back. First time we've seen them really sync up with this combo, and I think it's one that we're going to see more and more throughout. One that Gamsu will have to be a little bit more wary of, as it's really tough to deal with, but it's one that's going to give him some problems in the side lane if he's going to be the one that's matching Copy.
Well, someone's got to match him. If you have Jimian there, right, it's got to be Jimian.
He can smash the Tryndamere at this point.
But keep in mind, that means you're now losing that upfront damage that you can get with both the Victor and Kenvi combination with Braves. You talked about that before, how vital that is, the over-the-top damage they can get onto King. You no longer will have that consistency without Jimian matching up with the team.
And is the swap here from 100 Thieves Academy, as they do have Jimian now in the bot side against Copy. And again, for Jimian, I mean, there's really no more objectives to pick up. So I think for each of these teams, it's going to be about, once they get the waves past the halfway point, do they group up? Can they sync up with the rest of the squad?
I like this from Cloud9.
Yeah, they're swapping it.
They constantly are swapping it around. They get the wave push for Copy, so they get more gold in for Tryndamere, and he moves immediately.
I mean, Darshan, he would love to be against the Victor. He has a Warmogs, right? There's no way you can force Ornn out as the Victor.
Exactly, and so they keep just matching it. And look at Jimian. He's way late on the call because you didn't expect it. Now you have to march your entire way up to match Copy while you don't have that same luxury from Jimian.
Yeah, I think it's really clever play from C9, showing some of their experience, showing some of their game knowledge. They are doing this, but Jimian, he was still able to get push in the bot lane, and now 100 Thieves, they have numbers.
Nice flash from Malice. Got away from the solar flare, and Darshan, he's quick on the call too. On the other side, they got the knock up on one, looking for two. Gonna be able to focus down and see if they can get the kill on Kenvi, but he's still alive over the wall. He survived, but Malice is nearby, doesn't want to continue the chase. It's Copy, doesn't want to go either. They'll let them escape with their lives, but only just barely.
A lot of ults burned in that play, but I think both teams are going to be able to reset, get to the Dragon in time. And for C9, keep in mind, as long as they're keeping 100 Thieves there, Copy is winning in that top lane. He does have Gangplank under the turret. They took a lot of the health bars away from 100 Thieves, so they will force a reset. They will threaten the Baron. We'll see if Busio Wixie actually check this.
Spot out with the Ward Kings nearby. And it's Darshan Malice starting it up. They don't actually spot him out because that blue trinket got spotted before by the Control Ward. They have to peel because they got to be so careful with Jimian in the vicinity.
I think they saw that ever so slightly on the back half. Then
did they?
Just give Baron a little bit of a love tap. But we have a different solution coming out from 100 Thieves. It's Copy.
Copy's getting a lot of attention. He's rooted in place by the gravity well. Could try to go over the wall to escape. There it is. Gonna be parlay kill for Gamsu. All the while, C9 are setting up around this dragon. There's only TP for Kamsu.
Jimmy doesn't have TP because you have to take Ghost to match the Tryndamere. So I think that is 100 Thieves seeding this dragon, trying to find a play elsewhere. They will TP in, but this is late. C9, again, the better map setup. It forces a response from 100 Thieves Academy. They're the ones that take down the dragon for themselves, and that's Ocean's sole point. We'll see if 100 Thieves can get anything back as they are up a member.
So even though they lose copy, the play still works out for Cloud9. Some consolation prize will be grabbed by 100 Thieves on the way out as they take down that tier 2 in the mid lane. But it is just all setting up for when copy gets back. And then we'll have the full-on fight with about 4,500 favoring that of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and that is the one thing that benefits 100 Thieves here, is the fact that they're also just going to walk out with all these topside camps. And this is highway robbery for them, as they are taking away a lot of resources from C9. But it is still C9. If they get Ocean Soul in that match, the scaling that this team has. You have the Jinx, you have the Karthus, you have the Ornn. We are getting into the 25-minute mark of this game. How much does that 4K gold deficit matter for C9 at this point?
know.
We have ornaments coming in. We have a really close game on our hands. And at this point, I feel like we just have to keep our eyes on who, the really fed members are on each team. Jimmy, can he, have these impactful Victor team fights? And then Copy on the Tryndamere. I know that Copy had a slower start to the game, was pushed around a bit by Kennedy and Jimmy, but he's been proving himself on the Tryndamere in the side lane. And this is something that C9 does very well, playing out 3 lanes around Malice. We'll see if Copy is able to maybe find something in one of these side lanes and set up another play where he can get a solo kill with the help of Requiem.
2 ornaments have now been gifted out to the members of Cloud9, Malice and King, both receiving their upgrades to have that bit of an advantage going into these next ensuing fights. And that's why whenever you see an Ornn on the team, takes up a little bit for the gold deficit you might suffer against a team like 100 Thieves. They've got the setup initially. Even going for the Baron take, it's slow.
Wixie
and
snuck in.
Kenby.
Yeah, Wixie snuck in, so I don't know how aware C9 are about this Baron take.
They will be now.
Yeah.
Looking for the flash out of
Oh, he
Gomsu, but
canceled
look
it.
at Malice.
Jimmy.
Malice, they canceled that. It's huge for the side of 100 Thieves. Even if they got the knockup into the backline onto Gomsu, Solar Flare will get the cleanse out of King. And King had to kite this out like a madman with a shutdown, but they got the kill they needed to. And Copy will fall. They lose the cow. They only have 1 remaining for Cloud9, and 100 Thieves are 1 step closer to getting that top 4.
And Jimmy, he steps up, and his R button is greater than Malice's. That thing cancels channels, and it comes through at the right time. As let's take a second look. A huge play from Jimmy.
Wow.
I know the locket would have saved a lot of that, but the fact that he finds Malice, ults him, removes him from the fight immediately, makes it so difficult for C9, and props C9. They actually had an okay fight in the back half. King, Copy, somehow against all odds, were able to take down Wixie, but that was all they got. That was enough because Ucio had the stopwatch, 100 Thieves, able to rally around that rookie bot lane, save one of them, take the Baron in the back half, and just like that, 100 Thieves, that gambit they took around the 3rd Dragon Man Magical, that pays off, because now they have Baron for the Ocean Soul that C9 could take. If 100 Thieves play out this Baron cleanly, they should be able to deny that Ocean Dragon in the back half, and now they have a 7k gold lead, a Baron power play to take down the inhibitors of C9. This is looking like 100 Thieves could make this series a 3-1, and push themselves to the LCS stage for the top 4 of ProvingGrounds.
They also want to reclaim the title that they had from Summer. They are here to win. They are here to dominate, and Cloud9 are the 2nd seed. They've already beaten the 1st. They are not afraid of contesting the fight aggressively at every stage that Cloud9 could possibly want. As you can see,
Horn
there's
top.
a siege.
There's a duel.
Did see that. There's a lot of damage on it Gomsu as well. Garshawn doesn't get the knockup, though. Instead, we'll force back Gangplank with the Cannon Barrage banging up in a second.
This is getting funky.
Yeah, this is getting really funky, Cubby.
Honestly, though, for C9, this is okay. A Copy should be able to live, as Wixie not going to E over. He's headed for the hills. He's popping the Ghost.
There it is. Pops that. Blast cones the other way. Requiem comes out to get a little bit of damage and slow the pace for 100 Thieves as Copy continues to kite this around. Wait, no way. No way does he just go back and juke them ultimately so they can get the kill onto Jimmy. That would be a huge play if Copy was able to manage that. He's still out of there. But Jimmy's now kiting his way out. He doesn't have that ghost available. They've got a lot of damage. And here come the members to give reinforcements to take down Jimmy. He's low. Rocket not enough to pick up the kill. Darshan's doing his damnedest to take down Jimmy. But the PCS runner-up MVP kites it out and survives.
Not only does he kite it out, he had 2 stopwatches available. He uses neither. And they found Copy, the 2 soul laners for C9, the big piece of this team, their strategy, their ability to play safe and around Malice. They're the ones that fall trying to cut the waves. We'll see how much 100 Thieves Academy stick around for. If they siege upon this, they have to be careful. If they lose, that's open
go
soul.
For it. That damage on a Malice forcing him to go golden. 100 Thieves, they could take him down. Killing spree for Kenvi. 100 Thieves, the reigning champions, are one step away from winning.
If they mess this up, though, it's Ocean Soul for C9. So this is risky, and C9 have killed all the creeps.
They don't have any minions, exactly as you said, Cubby, so they're peeling back, waiting it out. There's some ward, some vision
no
for the side of Cloud9, but no TPs to utilize to get into that pit.
I like this from 100 Thieves Academy. I feel like this is the right moment to make the smart call.
Oh, geez, Jimmy 506 hitting them with that bank. And unfortunately, that rocket was just a bit too early for Kenvi to steal away and guarantee a soul.
This is successful for 100 Thieves. They got exactly what they wanted in the inhibitor. A little bit creative for them to get there, but Jimmy, we talked about the Victor getting accelerated with those early kills. You get your evolves earlier. Now, at this point, you're going to have your evolves at the right time, but because there's no Ornhorn for the side of C9, this everything connecting from Jimmy and Alistar Ornn cannot get on top of the Victor, and Jimmy makes them pay.
The fact I just find it incredible that Jimmy lives without using a stopwatch, as you had talked about, having 2 in his inventory. God, he is playing out of his mind in this game. It feels like throughout this series, we've seen a lot of these 100 Thieves members have their time in the spotlight. Wixie in one game, Kenvi in another, and here is Jimmy's time.
We'll see if C9 can answer. Again, 8k gold deficit, but you have an Ornn. You're 1 dragon away from Ocean Soul, and that's where things could go haywire in this game. As C9 backs up against the wall. They need to win this game and the next one to play any more games in ProvingGrounds to stay in the tournament, have a chance to get into that LCS stage. I know how much it would mean for Copy. Of course, all these guys dreaming of going pro, dreaming of playing on the LCS stage with the big team, playing it with the Academy squad. That is really the first step for a lot of these players towards reaching their end goal. That's why it means so much to them. We'll see as both of these teams go toe-to-toe to figure out who will get the privilege of playing on the stage. C9, they're going to be the ones that have to dig deep, find something gritty. As this game, it just continues to spiral out of control for them. I still think that Copy and the Malice with the Karthus can find kills in a side lane. You just can't do it against Jimmy at this point, who is level 18 with a stopwatch and a Zhonya's. How much gold is Jimmy sitting on? I feel like he is ignoring more items that he could be buying at the moment to make sure he has that stopwatch. Yeah, he has 2k gold in his inventory. He's not buying anything until that stopwatch is used or until he gets a full, probably Void Staff at this point for himself.
And right now, normally I would even be saying that this could be the eulogy of Cloud9 had it not been earlier in this week where we saw somehow FlyQuest pull off a miracle where it was down and out, nearly out of the game, and somehow a 42-minute victory came from them.
You don't have to do XU like that.
I gotta do it. I got it because that set up this, where we are at a, 9,000 gold deficit nearly. It's 8,000 gold behind for Cloud9, where they are at their base. It is a siege coming in from 100 Thieves while they get a lot of damage on it to Malice. The engage attempted by Cloud9 to survive this onslaught. Wait a minute, what's going on in the base? Requiem, they've got damage. Boostier's alive. No, he's dead. Oh my God, 100 Thieves. Are they gonna lose this game to the back door at a Copy?
No,
they
Jimmy's
might
base.
they're trying to get him back, but it's gonna be one turret sacrifice along the way.
Let's see if Jimmy can hold this. If not, it's all said and done for C9 as Jimmy. Oh, he's back.
He's
Copy.
up.
He couldn't make it work.
In. He got 2 recalls, but the TP's in. It was a valiant effort out of Cloud9, but they couldn't muster it at the very end. They will shut down. They will pick up a 3-1 victory over Cloud9 to continue their story throughout Proving Grounds that march on force to face off against Immortals Academy in the top 4.
And what a story for 100 Thieves Academy. Again, the second round robin in the regular season. This team was 4-14. They were in the first round, the play-in stage, where they had to win a best of 3 to just make it into the double elimination bracket, do or die. And 100 Thieves, everything that they've mustered up, this org, they are known for development. They've had 2 teams in multiple Proving Grounds. Think of 100 Thieves next competing this year, last year. This team doing it with 4 different members, making it top 4 for the 3rd Proving Grounds straight as 100 Thieves came together at the right time. They win the series, and they earned the right to play on that big stage.
What a game. Here we have a replay for the end of the gameplay.
Yeah, we got to see this end game
we
again.
have to, because that was nuts, Cubby.
I mean, you got to respect it from C9. And I didn't even recognize the copy was in the side lane at this point. Like,
No, neither did I.
I guess he was just rage pushing, and this is why 100 Thieves feels so pressured to pull the trigger. And to be fair, this almost worked out for the side of C9. I mean, Jimmy is 1 auto attack from King away, 1 hourglass away from going down, and for this game going to the wayside. But 100 Thieves, they hold strong. Kenvi, Wixie, so tough to get through Zeri in these elongated team fights. They found the carries for C9, and Copy trying to make it work on the back half. I mean, this was a game that was going wayward. We were teasing that we felt like the only game that C9, or the only play that C9 could really make to get back in the game was to utilize the Trinity Mirror and the Requiem in the side lane to try and find kills and move on from there. But 100 Thieves got too far ahead early, and Jimmy stepped up so big in this series. It's been huge for this team as they just continue to scale, continue to improve as we move out on throughout Proving Grounds.
And with that, it is the top 4 that is left in front of us, Cubby. We're going to toss to a break. When we come back, we'll have an interview as well as our end of show time with XU, with Kangas. Make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome to the afterglow. Welcome to the afterglow.
How can you make plans for tomorrow? How do you stay one step away? Look for the last time out the window. Pray that my spirit can stay. Don't ever look in the mirror, 'cause you'll be faced with a killer. And if you think you were a sinner, your life has just begun. Your life will never be the same, 'cause you were playing lost again. And there is no one else to blame. Now you're going down in flames. Going down in flames. Now you're going down in flames. Going down in flames. Yeah, you're going down in flames. How can you make plans for tomorrow? How do you stay one step away? this time out the window. Pray that my spirit can stay. Don't ever look in the mirror, 'cause you'll be faced with the killer. And if you think you were a sinner, your life has just begun. Your life will never be the same, 'cause you were playing lost again. And there is no one else to blame. Now you're going down in flames. Going down in flames. Now you're going down in flames. Going down in flames. Yeah, you're going down in flames. Your life will never be the same, 'cause you were playing lost again. And there is no one else to blame. Now you're going down in flames.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for our post-series interview with the victorious AD carry for 100 Thieves Academy, Wixie. First off, congratulations. You got the win and now went from play-ins to top 4 at ProvingGrounds. I want to start off by opening the book and giving an opportunity to reflect on the series. 4 games, didn't even need the full 5 to take down Cloud9. Did this match your expectations going into the day?
Honestly, preparing draft was like way harder than playing the actual game versus them. I think in game it
Okay.
was pretty easy, but they have a lot of weird picks that we had to be prepared for, so we were ready.
You had your own weird pick with the Rumble support. Talk me through
Oh,
this. What was up with that one?
Oh, I mean, we won the first game, so we wanted to like BM and like try some weird cheese, and Rumble was our pick, but it didn't work out. And then we just like ended up cleaning the series up anyway.
You went immediately back to the full scale team fight composition afterwards. So it was just serious at that point. You're like, all right, we dropped the 1, no more trolling.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I respect it. Well, I want to reflect on your journey as well as a player here, because this is your rookie split in the academy level of play and already top 4 improving grounds. That's a fantastic run. You still have a road in front of you, but for right now, kind of weight of expectation is something that I'm always curious about from players. What kind of expectations they have for themselves going into the split? Did you have any like specific goalposts you were trying to reach as a player when you joined 100 Thieves Academy? Because big org, defending Proving Ground champions. Did you feel like, hey, if we don't make it deep enough, there's kind of a failure there? What kind of expectations did you have?
Yeah, for sure. My expectations were super high coming into the split. Like our roster is super strong. I mean, I definitely predicted that we would like be in this position, I guess. Maybe even like getting the whole championship, you know? But yeah,
Mhm.
I think there's definitely like um we must win this because, you know, we won the last time, you know? So we want to get the 2 back-to-back championships in a row.
Yeah, big shoes to fill with Luger, of course. And this is
Oh yeah,
your
he's a
rookie
beast.
split. So you're doing a good job already. Reflecting on Proving Grounds itself, from play-ins to top 4. Now, what kind of lessons have you learned to level up the team from the performance that we saw at the end of the academy split, where it didn't look like the team was finding much success?
Yeah, definitely learned a lot of lessons from a lot of games where I felt like I griefed, and I I'm glad. I'm really grateful. I don't regret a single time that I didn't go for like the flash play. I didn't go for all these like things that costed us the game or all these kind of things, because they've honestly made me a better player. And now we're just going to keep improving after that.
Well, you did go for the crazy flash play in that game number 3 there. So I want to talk about some of those specific moments on the Jinx when you're diving the tier 2 turret in the top lane, flashing after Malice. Talk me through those kinds of scenarios. How do you balance it in the moment of like, all right, this is what I need to play reserved and not go crazy, and all right, let's go sicko mode?
Definitely when I have my teammates around me, there's that confidence that, I know Busio, he'll eat me as Tom Kench. He has those quick reactions. And I know like
Sure.
my team will back me up if I'm going for the aggressive play. So it's something that, yeah, I've adapted to doing recently, just like going in and knowing my team will have my back if I have flash, gale force, all that stuff up. So yeah, it's something that I've been working on.
Having the team around you definitely gives you that confidence. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about the opponents. Now, Cloud9 Academy, they were a scary one going into the tournament, but now you've eliminated them. They are not in top 4. Thoughts on Cloud9? Any smack talk you want to lay on them? Any banter for them?
Wait, oh yeah, I got some smack talk. It just kind of sucks that Winsome lost to our main team and now losing to the academy team. It's not a good look, but got him.
Ooh. Yeah, he had to get the 1-2 combo from 100 Thieves right there this last week. Well, congratulations. Now going forward, you will be up against Immortals Academy next. Thoughts on your next opponent here?
For sure, it'll be easier than this one. I think we Immortals had our number during the regular season, but I mean a lot of teams did. But we'll definitely get them this time around. Easy 3-0 IMO.
All right, Chad versus Gobs is also going to be a fun one to track there, the two defending champions, and then Ryoma in the lower bracket final. So you're going to have to go through a couple of those defending ProvingGrounds champs if you want to make that run. But best of luck going into preparation, Wixie. First, or before we close out, though, I'll give you the podium. Any message that you have for anybody out there watching, this is your time.
I guess shout out to my dad. I think he's watching this, and he's always supporting me from home. And yeah, I just wanted to shout him out. He's always like supporting me every time I'm on an interview, and appreciate it.
All right, Wixie dad buff, everybody. That's what gave them the 3-1 in the series. Congratulations, Wixie, and best of luck going into next week.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And with that said, we'll bring back in XU to close out the day here, because what a day it was. 3-1 victory for 100 Thieves Academy. XU, you got the correct game count with 3-1, but you didn't quite have the right team. So what was different from what we saw today than what you were expecting going into it?
I think C9 looked a little bit more flustered than they usually do. Definitely credit to 100 Thieves. They played an amazing series, but I do think C9 didn't perform to their expectations, so it ended up being a 3-1 in their favor.
Yeah, the expectations of performance, sometimes it can bite you because that's a lot of stress on these players, and especially when they have Winsome coming in to sub. Wixie had his words for him, but also our thoughts for Winsome going on that. It's a rough position as a player to be thrown into that. And Cloud9 Academy as a whole still had a pretty deep run. ProvingGrounds, all things considered, still got 5th, 6th at the end of the day. So I don't think that they should be too disappointed. 100 Thieves Academy are on a tear, though, going for their defending run. I want to give you the opportunity right now, X. You call it. What are the odds that 100 Thieves Academy actually go and defend their title?
I think it's not super likely. I think it's really high chance that they'll make the finals. I think they have a pretty easy matchup this week against Immortals Academy, and then the next match will be a little bit closer, but I do think TLA is in really good form. So that series will definitely be really close. But I do think 100 Thieves should most likely make it to the finals.
Well, you know who else thought Immortals would be an easy series? CLG and FlyQuest. Here we are with Immortals still in the top 4 themselves. Going on the stage, it's going to be so much fun to watch these teams actually go against each other. And eventually we'll be able to take a look at the updated bracket so we can catch up on exactly what's happening with the tournament, because going forward, everything will be on stage starting next week. Wednesday is when games will pick back up here. And I just want to give you the opportunity now, XU, because it's so rare that we have a player on, to reflect on the season as a whole. You know, when you're looking at the total split, all of spring for Academy and Amateur, now coming to a head here at ProvingGrounds, what are some of the big highlight moments that you think that we should remember as an audience as we're getting ready for the live stage? Because, of course, this is the end of a long season, but there's been a lot of a journey to get to this point.
I think the thing with Academy is like it's always exciting. It might not be like the highest quality of gameplay in the world, but every time you watch Academy, it'll be really fun. So having that in person, especially if there's like people in the crowd and like having that energy of like youth, I guess, because most of the people going on stage are actually going on stage for the first time.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really exciting for all the players.
Yeah, we actually have, I was doing the math, 5 rookie players in the top 4 teams remaining here, rookies for Academy. So that means that there's gonna be a lot of players that not only is it their first time on stage, it's their first split playing in Academy, and that's a big stage for them to go on to. And also, we have a lot of sophomores in too that started when, you know, we already had lockdowns because of COVID. It's crazy to think about that. It's been 2 years. So a lot of players, yourself included, you know, your entire experience in Academy has been in lockdown scenarios.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool to be on stage for them.
Also important to note, same top 4 teams from last split. Cubby just messaged me that one, so shout outs to Cubby right there. It's actually kind of cool to see consistency here at ProvingGrounds, summer and spring, year over year, still the top teams performing. Let's do a quick recap though of the day overall. 3-1 split here, and now, of course, 100 Thieves Academy taken. arguably the upset based on a lot of people's expectations coming in. I still predicted the full 5-game series, but that's what we have right now. Now, bringing our attention to tomorrow, I want to get your thoughts here, XU, because it will be 100 Thieves Academy versus Immortals Academy. Give me some predictions. Give me some spice. What's the series going to look like? Is it going the full 5 games? Is it going 3-0? Who's taking it?
I think it should be a 3-0 on a 100 Thieves side, but given what they did today, I kind of believe that they're also just going to 3-1 in a similar fashion where they have a
Okay.
really strong first game, and then the second game's a little bit shaky, and they just decide to close it out strongly. So, yeah.
All right.
3-1.
Well, 3-1, 3-0. I honestly, you know what? I got to do it. I'm going to say Immortals. You know what? I think Chad's on a rampage right now. What are your thoughts on Chad as a jungler? I love hearing from other junglers about each other because when I look at Chad's gameplay, yes, Kedvy's strong too, but Chad stepped up big last summer.
I think Chad's good. I definitely think Kenvy's better. And I think one of the big things is like Chad's always kind of been in Kenvy's shadow for the last year. So I think for Chad himself, like this is a big moment for him to prove himself, but I don't think he's there yet. I think Kenvy will get the better end of the deal.
So you think the jungler that missed out on the opportunity to win ProvingGrounds because he was boot camping in Europe is going to be hungry to take down the jungler that replaced him?
Yeah, definitely. I think he wants to make it known that like he's better than the person who replaced him for that time.
It's going to be a big story either way, and that will be happening live at the LCS studio on Wednesday. Thank you so much, XU, for coming on and chatting with us today. It was awesome having you on the desk. I want to give you the opportunity now to take the podium yourself. Any message for anybody out there watching, and how can we find you? Do you have a Twitch? Do you have Twitter? Where can fans follow the XU journey?
The most active one is definitely just Twitter. My Twitter is just lolxu, but I think if I had a message, it would just be like, watching these games makes me really sad that we lost, so I'm super, super hungry to win next year, and I think for everyone who's watching, like, it's really important to remember that, like, all of us on the Academy stage are people who are trying to chase their dreams, so it's just, like, it's cool to banter and all, but it's important to remember that everyone's a person at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I'm happy that we're able to highlight you on broadcast today as well. You had an incredible split, XU. It was awesome to see your journey. But that will do it for the broadcast here today. One team walks away victorious. One team's ProvingGrounds split. And a special thank you to everybody behind the scenes in production for keeping the gears rolling and everything working so smoothly, rolling with all these crazy ideas that we have. Also, thank you to everybody naming them: Duran, Peter, Tanya, Tiffany, Metro, Moon Jelly, See Home Dog, hashtag Leche Fandom, Mermaid Monarchy, I believe is what we called that one, NHI, Azure, Nick, Blake, Ryan, Brad, Robbie, Devin, Brewski, and Purple Watermelon. Fantastic crew to work with. We've been leveling up all split, and now we've been knocking it out of the park here for ProvingGrounds. It's been an honor to partner with them throughout the split so far. Thank you again to XU for coming on. Thank you to the casters for putting on an incredible show, and all the players for putting on that performance. Like XU said, everyone's chasing their dreams, and we get the honor to watch them on that journey. We will be back live from the LCS studio on Wednesday, and we'll see you there.